Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to find out who were Anunnaki. What's their actual history? Were they actually aliens from Nibiru planet? Why Anunnaki and the gods of Eshu-Mesha fought war? So buckle up and prepare to have your perspective shaken. The Anunnaki are prominently mentioned in the mythologies of the Sumerians, who inhabited the region of Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, around 4000 to 2000 BCE. The Anunnaki is a term often used in ancient astronaut theories and alternative history discussions. According to these theories, the Anunnaki are believed to be extraterrestrial beings who visited or interacted with humans in the distant past. The Anunnaki are powerful deities in ancient Mesopotamian mythology, particularly in Sumerian texts. They were considered higher beings who shaped creation, civilization, and human affairs. Although their significance is well documented, their concept has been linked to speculative and pseudoscientific ideas in modern times. Despite this, the Anunnaki remain a central element of Mesopotamian mythology and religion. Sumerian mythology. The term Anunnaki first appeared in Gudea's reign 2144 to 2124 BC, referring to powerful Sumerian deities, including the 7 gods who decree: Enlil, Enki, Ninhursag, Nana, Utu, and Inanna. Even if certain deities are said to be Anunnaki, there isn't a whole list of their names that has survived, and literary works are the only places where they are discussed as a single entity. Inconsistent descriptions of the Anunnaki are found in Sumerian writings, and there is disagreement over their number and divine purpose. The Anunnaki initially seem to have been heavenly beings with great power. In the poem Enki in the World Order, the Anunnaki do homage to Enki, chant songs of adoration to him, and take up their dwellings among the Sumerians. The Anunnaki are said to decree the fates of mankind in the same composition repeatedly. Almost every significant deity in the Sumerian pantheon was revered as the protector of a particular city and was supposed to uphold the interests of that city. It was thought that the divinity had a permanent home in the temple of that city. As many as 50 Anunnaki are mentioned in one literature as being connected to the city of Eridu. There are just 7 Anunnaki in Inanna's descent into the netherworld, who live in the underworld and act as judges. They hold Inanna to account for her attempt to rule the underworld, find her guilty of hubris, and sentence her to death. Major deities were linked to particular heavenly bodies in Sumerian mythology. Venus represent Inanna. The sun was Utu. The moon was Nana. All of the stars in the equatorial sky were associated with Anu, those in the northern sky with Enlil, and those in the southern sky with Enki. Sumerian beliefs was similar to Indus civilization, and ancient Egypt also share a same time period. After the end of Sumerian mythology, these beliefs evolved differently in other regions of Mesopotamia. The Anunnaki are portrayed as chthonic underworld deities in Akkadian texts from the 2nd millennium BC, mirroring how they are portrayed in Inanna's descent into the netherworld. Early in the 2nd millennium, Ereshkigal, the queen of the underworld, says that Inanna should drink water with the Anunnaki, in a condensed Akkadian version of Inanna's descent. The Anunnaki are to be brought from Egalgina, decorated the threshold steps with coral, and seated on golden thrones, according to an order given by Ereshkigal to her servant Namtar later in the same poem. The Igigi are a new group of gods that appeared during the Old Babylonian period, 1830 BC, 1531 BC. Uncertainty surrounds the Anunnaki and Igigi's connection. The terms appear to be used interchangeably on occasion, but in other compositions, like the poem of Era, there is a definite differentiation between the two. The Igigi are the 6th generation of gods who are made to work for the Anunnaki in the late Akkadian Atrahasis epic. After 40 days, the Igigi revolt, and the Anunnaki god Enki makes humans to take their place. Since the Middle Babylonian period, 1592 to 1155 BC, the term Anunnaki has been used to refer generally to the deities of the underworld, whereas the term Igigi has been used to refer generally to the deities of heaven. At this time, Marduk, the patron god of ancient Babylon, and the underworld deities Damkina, Nergal, and Madnu are named as the most powerful Anunnaki. The Anunnaki are 7 judges of the underworld who set the land on fire as the storm approaches, according to Utnapishtim, the immortal survivor of the Great Flood, in the classic Akkadian epic of Gilgamesh. about 1200 BC. Ishtar, the East Semitic version of Inanna, and the Anunnaki lament the annihilation of humanity later, when the flood arrives. The Anunnaki are given their roles by Marduk in the Babylonian Enuma Eli. There is evidence of a sophisticated underworld cosmology because a late Babylonian version of the epic specifies 600 Anunnaki of the underworld but only 300 Anunnaki of heaven. The great gods, the Anunnaki, created a Sagila, a splendid temple for Marduk, Ea, and Elul, out of gratitude. The Anunnaki are referred to be the brothers of the god Nergal and are portrayed as being hostile toward humanity in the 8th century BC poem of Era. Marduk is shown as marching his army of Anunnaki into the revered city of Nippur and causing a commotion in a severely damaged book from the Neo-Assyrian period, 911 to 612 BC. As a result of the disruption, a flood occurs, forcing the local gods of Nippur to seek refuge in the Eshemesha temple to Ninurta. Outraged by Marduk's offense, Enlil commands the gods of Eshemesha to imprison Marduk and the other Anunnaki. The Anunnaki are captured, but Marduk chooses Mushtashureblim, his frontrunner, to spearhead a rebellion against the gods of Eshemesha, and notifies Nabu, the god of literacy, through his messenger Neratagmil. The Eshemesha gods hear Nabu speaking, and they leave their temple to look for him. Enlil and 360 other Eshemesha gods, including those who were defeated by Marduk, are taken prisoner of war. Marduk brings the Eshemesha gods before the Anunnaki despite Enlil's protests that they are blameless. Damkiana, another name for Ninhursag, issues a warning to the gods and humans at the end of the narrative, pleading with them not to repeat the conflict that occurred between the Anunnaki and the gods of Eshemesha. The depictions of the Anunnaki are different based on the specific culture and time period, but some common characteristics are attributed to them in various texts and artworks. The Anunnaki are frequently portrayed as humanoid beings that resemble humans but are frequently bigger and more powerful. They are frequently shown with distinctive characteristics and traits that distinguish them different from ordinary humans. They were dressed in magnificent and regal garb, befitting of their divine stature. They might be seen holding particular artifacts or symbols that stand in for their spheres of influence. Enki, the deity of water and knowledge, would be pictured holding a fish or a water vessel, whereas Enlil, the god of air and storms, might be seen carrying a thunderbolt. Some representations of the Anunnaki have horns and occasionally wings, notably those of the more well-known Anunnaki like Anu, Enlil, and Inanna. These characteristics indicated their heavenly and extraterrestrial origins. The idea of the Anunnaki being associated with extraterrestrial beings and ancient astronaut theories is a modern pseudoscientific and speculative idea that is not supported by credible historical or archaeological evidence. Mesopotamia left with undeciphered Elamite texts and different stories written in cuneiform system. That's why alternative fictional perspectives developed around Anunnaki. They were not aliens but most likely humans. We don't really know who they were, but same Sumerian gods have been seen in Indus Valley civilization. Let me know what's your opinion on this. Subscribe for the next video on this topic. Thanks for watching.